All right, so this session that I want to talk about is using Google Meets. I want to give you a crash course intro in it for those unfamiliar with it. And then after we do that and get accustomed to everything, I'll move into some instructional practices and how you can use that in your PLCs and with your students. So welcome. And like I said, if you have any questions, drop them in the chat, or in fact, you can jump in too. That's cool too. So first, I don't know, it looks like a lot of you are from a desktop or laptop device. If you're on a phone, some things could look a little bit different, but all the same features are there. So it doesn't matter what device you use to join a Google Meet. If you're going to have people joining you and you know that they're going to be on a cell phone or tablet, what I highly recommend is telling them to download, it's called the Hangout Meets by Google app that's available in the App or Play Store. And what that will do will, once they download it and they're logged in with their account, that will be ready for them to go. So whenever they click on that link to the meeting, it'll automatically open it in the app. Sorry, I just had a kid walk in. You need to go. All right. So for those of you who are on a laptop or desktop, super simple. Just make sure that you're in Chrome and you click on that link and then it's ready to go. And then you just join. So I'm going to crash course what we have available on our screen. So I'm going to share my screen with you so you can see what all the features that are available. So one, I think it's cool to remember that the URL up top is a link to the meeting. So I can copy that, paste that wherever I want, share that in Google Classroom, all that good stuff. I can also find that link by clicking on this arrow, and that will give me this pop-out that will give me my meeting details. So if you guys want to click on that, you can see that here's my link to. You technically can have people dial in. If for whatever reason, if they want to join by audio only and just by dialing in, you can give them that information too. This attachment feature, we played with that yesterday. This arrow, it's in on a computer. It's my bottom left-hand corner. If you can click on my picture on the side, if I'm not live, I'm showing you my screen right now. But that's where that is. Then you can click on attachments. All these attachments actually automatically added after every single time I've done one of these meetings. So every time I record this meet session, what it's going to do is it's going to save that video in my Google Drive, and it's going to save the text of the chat in my Google Drive. So then I have record of that and I can share that out as needed. And so it's really handy here because it attaches that to this meeting. So I believe you guys can see those attachments. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that gives you guys access to those too. Is the text automatic captions? No, the text, you should look for this icon right here. So this is the speech bubble. And when I click on that, it shows the chat. Yes, the screen is black because I'm presenting my screen. So if I wanted to show you, a spreadsheet or some other work or whatnot, that's why it's black and you're not seeing my face. I can stop presenting and here's my face again. So if you want to see your students, right, whenever I click on people over here, I can see, let me share my screen again so you can see what I'm doing. So to share your screen in the bottom right-hand corner, there's a button that says Present Now. And whenever I present now, I have the option to share my entire screen or just a window. So now I'm sharing my screen. That's where that was right there. Hi, yes, you're on. And yes, so this is where I was presenting. So let's say that I wanted to go in my drive and I wanted to open up a Google slide and share that slides with you to talk about it. That's definitely something that I can do. But again, the people, here's our list. We've got guys, I'm impressed. I mean, it's early in the morning and we've got over 30 people on here. So that's pretty awesome. So this is where you can see everybody. Now, I will say that one difference between using Google Meet and Zoom is they both do the same thing. You both are able to video conference and you're able to see people. Here's what I recommend. I highly recommend using Zoom with other adults for PLCs, and principals are choosing that option for staff meeting because you can see everybody's face at one time. So that's definitely a plus. But one thing about Zoom, and I don't have the updated information, but our department's been talking to their legal team about their terms of service, because right now, as it sits, students under the age of 18, it's not legal for them to use that device. So not that device, it's not legal for them to use Zoom as a user. So if you knew that you were using that, with parents, that would be a different thing. So that's why we're recommending that you use Google Meets with students. And we have turned on that capability for that to be used with students. So another reason too is because it saves to your drive. You can share it in Classroom, and Google is working on some pretty awesome things that are going to make life a little bit easier as we transition to this remote and distance learning. So I think this really is the space that that you want to be in. Somebody asked, let me stop presenting. Somebody asked, can non-district people join a session? Yes, they can. So if non-district people try to join, so let's say that you accidentally were logged into your personal Gmail account, it is going to give me a pop-up, and I think actually everybody sees a pop-up that says so-and-so is trying to join, will you allow them? So you just click allow, and then they can be in the session. Let's see. Do you need an app to be able to call in the session phone number and code? You know what? I don't know that, Michaela. Can you Google that while we're talking? I bet she'll get on that. So any more options on the screen? Let me think about anything that I might have missed. In the center of your screen at the bottom somewhere, you have a place where you can mute your microphone. Here's an update for you just know that Google and all of these companies who are offering all these tools for us, they're working around the clock to make their tools and their user experiences better. So one thing that just literally happened yesterday while we were working is Google was listening to all of the feedback from the global community on Meets. And it was possible for students to mute other students or to unmute other students. And so if we had kids in a meeting like this, we definitely would not like that. So now you should not, on your end, have the ability to mute other people. That's only available to me. So somebody asked how to pull a Google Slides onto the screen. So it's really not technically pulling something onto the screen, but in my corner, and if you're on a phone, it might be some 3 dots that you can click on, but there's something that says Present Now. And when I click on Present Now, I can choose my entire screen to share with you. And so now I can open literally anything up on the internet, and I can share anything that I'm doing. I just typed in slides.new. That's a shortcut. to create your own Google slide. So if I wanted to create a slide while I'm working with the team, then what I might do is I could share this with people on my team and we could work on it together. Or I can go to my Drive. Let's say that I made this Fortnite menu for my students, and I want them to be able to click on some of these activities and things for them to do. Then I can pull this up and I can talk about how this works, directions for this activity. And then if I'm recording my screen, then technically I can save that recording. And I've just created a short little, video instructions that I can throw in Google Classroom to talk about an activity that kids are doing. So I hope that answered your questions. So if you want to be able to present something and write on it for a direct teach, that's Google Meet probably isn't the best tool for that. So I recommend Screencastify for that. And we actually have some other video conferences on that today. I think that one's either at 9/11 or 9/1 and 3, but we have some other sessions on that. But Screencastify is going to be the best for that. Can you use Pear Deck with students while having them meet? Absolutely. So let me make sure that I hit everything on my agenda, and then I will probably address that here in a second. So there are a couple ways, now that we're kind of familiar with the tool, to create a Google Meet. So I'm still presenting my computer. Let me show you one. The fastest is literally to go to meet.google.com. And so when I go there, because I'm logged in right with my district account, I can see ones that I have scheduled. These show up here because I've already created that link and they're on my Google Calendar. But if I wanted to just start one on the fly, I can just click join or start a meeting, give it a quick nickname. And then whenever I click continue, it's going to create a new session for me. And I would have to join the session in order to get in. What's really cool is if you wanted to present something while other people are jumping on the call, then you could present your screen. Maybe you're presenting some instructions, or maybe you're presenting, a fun page with your Bitmoji. But you can present while people are coming in. They can see that. And then, again, here's the URL that I could share and put anywhere. This would be a great option for live on the fly. Somebody's going to receive that link right away. You can be in multiple meets at a time. It can get very overwhelming. So that is possible. So you're not limited to one at a time. I have one teacher yesterday who joined on her computer, but she also joined our same meeting with her iPad, because she had the idea that she could use her iPad to share her screen on her iPad to model some things. So she actually used her a whiteboard app on the iPad to present to the Google Meet meeting, since she liked using the iPad for instructional reasons. The next way, and really, I think this is going to be the best. This is the way I'm telling everybody I think you need to create your meets, is we need to get organized through Google Calendar. I think it's going to be really important in the coming days and weeks that we can establish a schedule for ourselves. Our kids need to be able to establish some kind of schedule. We need to be able to get in some routines and all that business. So if I want to, there's actually a link that I dropped in the chat to a screen recording of what I'm doing right now. But let's say that on Sunday, I want to schedule a meet for 12 p.m. I went to my Google Calendar. I click on 12 p.m. I say that maybe this is my social studies PLC. And what I'm going to do if I'm meeting with adults, I'm going to invite them. I think it would be kind of excessive to invite like 30, 35 kids to this invite. Plus, they're not used to going to their Google Calendar. That'd be a great thing to teach them to where they can set schedules for themselves. But what I might do is start inviting my PLC members. And then once I have those people invited, I'm going to click on Add Conferencing, and this produces a Google Meet link. So this Google Meet link, I can set this calendar up as recurring to where it happens every single day at the same time. This is how we're recommending to teachers to hold office hours. So you can see like today at 12 p.m. I have office hours with Rutherford. So at 12 p.m. I click on this event and I'm going to click on this link and I'm going to hold my office hours where I'll be available to all of my teachers and campus to take anything. Now notice that I can join right now. There's no reason why I can't hold my office hours early. I could have this window open all day long if I wanted to. It just depends on what you can commit to as far as time goes when you're going to have that window up to be available to people. So as far as, let's see, we're working on getting Google Meets available in the portal. And good news, by the way, breaking news on the portal, we worked to remove the two-factor authentication. So students won't have to choose their picture. And I don't think teachers will have to choose their picture either. So for all those reports that we're getting of kids who are forgetting their picture in the portal once we sign in, our tech serve people should have removed that last night. If it's not working, don't hold me to it, but they're going to be doing that. So that's good news. That'll make it a little bit easier for our younger kids and me. Honestly, I'm tired of choosing that picture. So let's see. So as long as we give the kids their number and PIN, they can get in. Absolutely. Yeah, that's their login to the portal. But right now, as it sits, you do not have to go through the portal to use Google Meets. I definitely do not do that. The only thing that it might ask is whenever you do log in with a district account through a Google tool, it will pop up that second screen to do that, but you at least won't have to choose your picture. So as far as using Google Meets professionally and instructionally, let me stop sharing. So what happens if kids miss the meet time? So let's talk about that. In virtual learning, there is a difference. There are two options. That's synchronous learning and asynchronous learning. Synchronous learning is what we're doing right now. It's happening at the same time. We're all learning together and it's live. So there are a bunch of platforms you can use to go live. Google Meets, you can use YouTube Live, you can Periscope on Twitter, right? All that, but you can go live on Facebook. All that would qualify as synchronous learning because it's happening at the same time. Now, you know, your principals are going to have expectations for what instruction looks like at your campus, different expectations. But one, I think we offer it, right? I think we offer live face-to-face sessions so that we can meet in real time. We can give real-time feedback. We can have those pulse checks with our kids to make sure they're okay, to reassure them, to answer their questions, and to have all that. I think it would be too much to ask them to all be there, right? We're not going to require kids to be there. But for those who can make it, definitely hold those live sessions. For those who can't make it, then just record that session. So you record that session with whoever's there. And I think that's going to create some FOMO with kids, honestly. If I have a live meeting and half my class is there and I share that video on my classroom so that other kids can see, I think that they're going to start to want to meet in those spaces. So the question was asked, why do we not want kids to go to Google Hangouts over Google Meets? Google Hangouts, we actually turned off for students. So it was possible for Google Hangouts for students in Hangouts to enter into private rooms, private chat rooms, virtual rooms, and that is not something that we want to have happen. But we've turned that off. So we've turned that on for Meet. You record. Let me share my screen so you can see where it is for me. Whenever I click present now, not present now, this is just me showing you. Right here in my bottom right-hand corner, so those of you who are on computers and laptops, it's gonna look the same as mine, but these 3 dots, when I click on that, it'll say stop recording. Can somebody check and tell me if you have the option to stop the recording?
You want me to test it?
Yeah, sure, go for it. So what was happening yesterday is other people did have the option to stop my recording, you know, which could be a downer if you have some